Welcome to my Just Jenny podcast. Today's episode is really about you. I spend so many episodes talking about what's going on with me because there's been a lot. And I emote, I share, I grieve, I fetch. I do it because I want anybody listening and everybody listening to know that they're not alone with their own ish. So to that point, I asked on Instagram at Just Jenny Hut for you to send me the problems that you're having that are keeping you up at night. My philosophy is that while we cannot fix every problem, we can certainly do our best to manage it. I believe that every problem is manageable. Doesn't mean it's going to have a happy ending. It means it's manageable, that we're going to figure out a way to endure whatever it is, get through it, work through it, live in it, exist with it, make friends with it. We're going to be okay. So I put it on my Instagram. Tell me what's keeping you up at night. And there are things keeping you up at night. So let's get into it. I'm going to use first initial for your username. So I think you'll know it's you, but nobody else will. I believe in privacy. I also am not a therapist. And so if you are really struggling and you're not finding comfort anywhere, please get a licensed therapist. Find someone to talk to. There are so many options and avenues for you to be able to do that. Many are covered by insurance, and there are ones that are affordable even when you don't have insurance. So please find help if you need it. Okay, G says her manager is what's keeping her up. Oh, G, I've been there. Best you can do with a manager who's not treating you the way you want to be treated is if you can't go to like some sort of HR, if you don't have an HR department, if it's a smaller business, or you feel like going to HR won't have any benefit to you, then I would kill them with kindness and just do your job the best you can. Kill them with kindness, meaning when you engage, just engage extra kindly. And then if you can avoid them and have less engagement, great. Just do your job, sort of, and move on. C says being self-employed in a scary as hell economy is what's upsetting her or keeping her up. I get it. Oh my God, do I get it? Because I'm here, I'm doing it. I'm self-employed in every way. And yeah, it's terrifying, but gotta believe in yourself. And you have to know that you're doing the work. You're doing what you need to do to make your business succeed. So your business will succeed. That's it. That's how you have to believe. And yes, be mindful. Maybe now is not the time for you to be tripping the light fantastic and spending oodles of dough. What else can you do other than do the very best that you can? We could be scared and do it anyway. It's another one of my mottos. I'm scared, but I do it anyway. E says, figuring out the future for my special needs 18-year-old son. Yes, E. I think the things that keep most of us up are the people we love. It has to do with the people we love. So I get that. You've provided for him and taken care of him for the past 18 years. And my guess is you're going to figure out how to make sure his future is protected and okay. It's really hard. There are things you can't control, but you also have to believe that you've equipped him best you can too. D says, are my adult children ever going to be able to afford to buy a home? We hope so. Hope your children will be able to afford a home. Hope our children will be able to afford a home. We have to let them choose their paths. And maybe their paths will be renting. I don't know. But we have to let them choose their paths. That's a really tough one. Letting them grow and be as they choose to be rather than what we deem as the right way to live. Yeah, I think that's tough for many, many parents. Jay says, my oldest child is graduating from high school. Our time went so fast. Oh, Jay. The bait and switch of parenting. We're given these kids and told to love them and raise them. And by given, I mean we birth them, we adopt them, we foster them, we inherit them, whatever it might be with our kids. However we end up parenting. The bait and switch of the whole thing is that we love them, we care for them, and the whole goal that we have is to have them grow up and leave us. They're supposed to do it. So he's supposed to grow up and go. It's so painful. I mean, it's physically, emotionally painful, but that's how it's supposed to be. So You'll manage. You'll get through it. We all do. Everything goes so fast. Every aspect of life as we get older gets faster and faster and faster and faster. I used to bemoan what a year would be. Well, a year from now. And now I'm like, a year from now is in a blink of an eye. So I try to stay in the moment. And I think that's the answer. Try to stay in the moment. C says losing weight is what's keeping them up. They said it's like a battle that I can't win. Well, see, if you listen to this podcast or you've listened to me for any length of time, I have so many experts on who talk about the complexity of weight loss and that in many cases, there's a need for a multifactorial approach, which can involve medication. And I urge you to find an obesity medicine specialist, somebody who could help you with your specific struggle and determine what it is that will help you accomplish what you want. You have to drown out the noise of anybody around you telling you to do something different. Find yourself a professional. It is okay to do that. You're worth it. You matter. And there's nothing wrong with you for seeking help. I think it's everything right with you when you seek help. Kay says her children are keeping her up at night. I think thoughts of her children. They're grown-ups. I know this, Kay. She says my dogs and my husband snoring. And she says she misses me on the radio. I'm here. I'm on the podcast and I'm on social media and I'm so easy to talk to. You could find me on Instagram at any time, on TikTok. You can message me. You can email me at justjennypod@gmail.com. I'm not gone. I'm just talking via a different medium. I can't help you with your husband snoring. I actually like when my husband snores. I enjoy it. I know that sounds so weird, but I find it comforting. And my dogs, well, they are always with me. And yes, sometimes they keep me up at night when I worry about them. And yes, I worry about my children ad nauseum. So I get it. It's just, we have to find a way to make friends with that worry. I mean, that's what I do. I try to make friends with the worry. P says, my husband's almost in remission. It's been a long, hard year of treatments. Oh, P. I'm so happy he's almost in remission. And I know how impossibly hard this situation is. You just keep going. That's the only mission you have, is to keep going a day at a time. Don't look ahead. Don't look behind. Just keep going a day at a time. That's my advice. She says she has health anxiety. I'm with you. If you figure that one out, let me know how you did it. Because my only way of managing that right now is to stay in the moment. I say this a lot. Mindfulness, stay in the moment, stay in the present. But that is it. Keep busy and stay in the present. B said her husband had a heart attack a month ago. 53 years old. He seemed healthy. He ran 5 miles a day. And now he takes a lot of medications and has 3 stents. And she doesn't like it when he's out of her sight. And he travels a lot. Well, B, he has good doctors because he's okay. So he had the heart attack. They put in 3 stents. 3 stents means that his arteries should be working essentially like new. That's amazing. And I'm sure the medications are just supportive. So have faith in the doctors, have faith in your husband. And I'm glad that they caught it. I'm not glad he had a heart attack, but I'm glad that they had the heart attack. They figured out what caused it and they gave him the stents and they're helping him. So in this case, you just sort of have to have a positive sense, a positive something or other, I think. I think in this case, you just have to stay positive. You just have to, moment by moment, realize he's okay now. And yeah, when he's away, I too would flip out, but I'm not sure that you could stop him from living his life. I'm not sure that would be good for him or you. Kay says, my dad's 93. His mind is very sharp. Kay says, my dad is 93. His mind is very sharp. I still talk to him all the time, but physically he's slowing. Well, he's 93, Kay. Oh my gosh, how lucky are you? Enjoy him, enjoy him, enjoy him. Of course he's going to slow down physically, but he's here. So focus on that. D says she has a new boss. D, look at it like opportunity. You get to start fresh and start anew with someone else. That's cool. With someone else as your boss. Stay positive about that. R says, my son is 17 and a little on the shy side. And now as a 17-year-old, I feel I should have pushed him a little bit. I'm afraid he's missing out on social events, although he says he has zero FOMO. I don't know if he's hiding it, keeping me up all night with worry and guilt. Well, welcome to being a mom. I think we all worry about our kids. We worry about their academic lives, their professional lives, their social lives, all of it. But if he says he's okay and he's talking to you, then I would listen to that. If he's happy, leave him be. If you sense that he's not, then you can engage his pediatrician and ask if you think something's going on. Some kids are more loners than others. I've always been the type of person that had JOMO, the joy of missing out. I never liked the parties, never. I was the one in college who wanted to stay in my apartment and read a book and take a bath. Like, I had zero interest in going out and getting wild. Zero interest. I'm still like that. I have to go to an event next week and I have complete anxiety over going to that event. That's just how I'm wired. Some of us would rather be home. And maybe that's just who that he is. Some of us are shy. He'll grow into himself. But if you really think there's a problem, then ask his pediatrician. You could also talk to maybe some of his teachers. He just needs one or two friends in his life, and they don't have to do all that much. R says taxes are keeping her up at night. A lazy contractor repair from the hurricane. Yeah, I mean, that's just annoying. R, so I would try your best to just take deep breaths because not much is going to help the situation but time. A says, I've been struggling with my identity and age. The kids are grown. Friendships have changed. Yes. A, you're right. This is hard. This time in our lives when our kids grow up and they leave and we got to figure out who we are in a way. Yet again, we're not defined by our children. We're not defined by our relationships. We have to figure out who we are. So I think you've taken that first step of saying that you need to kind of figure it out. And that's sort of like whatever that means for you. I don't know that it has to be a deep dive. Maybe it has to be that you just need to find things you like to do and do them. Maybe that will help. Friendships do change. Our priorities change. Our relationships change. But again, I'm not sure that has to be a bad thing. Lean into this next phase in your life and allow yourself to figure out what you like, where you want to be, who you want to be with. You have the time to do that now. Embrace it. S says, I'm thinking I'm not doing enough for my mom with dementia. S, I think you probably are doing enough for your mom with dementia. I think the frustrating part with dementia is that no matter what you do, she still has dementia. So maybe a part of this is you're thinking you're not doing enough because she's not responding in the way that you would hope she could. And I'm not sure you can ever get that to be, because dementia is impossible. There's no cure. So just make sure that you're not questioning your behavior as a means to manage the frustration that she has dementia. I'm sorry, that's really tough to go through. T says, am I prepared for war? Are you? I don't know. Why do you feel like you have to prepare for war? N says what's keeping her up at night is that a friendship that she has decided to quietly quit. She says she needs to do it, but it doesn't make it easier to do. You have to leave a relationship. You have to leave a friendship. I think I talked about this fairly recently on one of my episodes. I've been there. You just have to distance yourself. Sometimes you have to do it. And if it's worth a conversation first, then have it. But I think maybe more often than not, especially in modern times where we don't spend a lot of time actually together, I think you can probably just distance yourself quietly as you plan. And you know why. And if you know why, then they probably know why too. And if they come and they ask you, then you'll tell them. But you have to take care of your mental health and well-being. So do what you need to do. T says, my divorce is keeping me up at night. It's been going on almost 3 years. She says the lawyer bill is horrible and will it ever get done? Yes, it will get done. Yes, it will get done. Divorces are painful. They suck. They're divorce. But you'll be better on the other side, even if you don't realize it now. S says she's up at night because her dad had a stroke. Oh, S, I feel you. I'm sorry. I'm just sorry. It's awful. Day at a time. He can get better a day at a time. H says, what's the next step in my life? Empty nest. My husband's retiring soon. Yeah, this is opportunity to figure out what you want that next step to be. How exciting. Look, I know it's hard. I hate empty nesting. It's the worst. But there is an opportunity in there to find your way and figure out what makes you tick without thinking about the kids. I mean, we always think about the kids, but I think it's good. I think this next phase gets to be about you. And that's how I look at it. I'm trying to live my life. I force myself to do things sometimes that I don't want to do because I think it's healthy for me to do it, because we know I don't leave my house, or I leave my house very infrequently. But yeah, look at this as opportunity. G says, I'm trying to deal with sneaky people at work, hiding their titles so I don't know about it. I don't know what that means. How does someone hide their title at work? I need more details about this issue. M says, I'm doing great at work, but I'm feeling imposter syndrome at home. Ah, wow. That's fascinating. I wonder what this is about. If it's that you have kids, is it a guilt thing that you feel guilty because you're happy when you're at work and when you're at home, you're not feeling as great? You're allowed to have whatever feelings you have. There are no thought please, and there are no feelings please. If everybody's happy in the home or happy enough or reasonably fine, you're doing well enough. You're thinking about it. You're actually thinking about how things are at home because you're so happy at work. My sense is you're probably doing a good job in both places. But I get the conflict. I get the inner turmoil. We all have it in one way or another. Be kind to yourself. T says her family keeps her up at night. Work keeps her up at night. Stuff from her home keeps her up at night. Yeah, that's just generalized anxiety, and it's hard. You got to make friends with it. And you got to compartmentalize each thing and separate it and really determine like which thing is bothering you. Almost give it a priorities list, maybe make a list. I find lists are incredibly helpful. A says her house clutter is what keeps her up at night. Okay, so starting today, take 15 minutes, even 5 minutes every day and clean one area. Don't look at the whole house. Look at one room, one drawer, one shelf, and start with that. And little by little, the clutter will dissipate. It is not fun. I feel you, but you will feel so much better once you start. The inaction often makes us feel worse. G says, I'm taking my dad to visit my mom's gravesite after a year, and I don't know what to expect. Well, how could you know what to expect? You haven't done this before. Expect to feel sadness or expect to feel numb. And also have no expectations because it doesn't really matter. It's just going to be. Death, grief, it's all weird. We can never really anticipate our response or our loved one's responses. Be kind to yourself and be kind to him. M says they're not able to sleep well. Talk to your doctor. Maybe you need to meditate. Maybe you need medication. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I would talk to your doctor. A says they're in a toxic work environment. If you can't leave that environment, then you have to change how you behave. We cannot control how other people behave. We can control our behavior in response to their behavior. We can always control our reaction. So that's what I'd work on. And says, I'm obsessed with my spouse's health. I don't want to be a widow. I'm only 62. Well, yeah, I don't think anybody wants to be a widow. Wait, let me rephrase that. I would hope that nobody wants to be a widow. But your worry is not going to change the course of your spouse's life and longevity. If your spouse is unwell or unhealthy, then you can have a conversation about it and ask your spouse to get the appropriate help that they need. But it's up to them ultimately. And you have to kind of live in the moment. It's the worst. But that's what you have to try. C says, okay, here it goes. When Things are good. I lose sleep for waiting for the other shoe to drop. Yeah, that's called anxiety. That is called anxiety. Deep breaths. Understand that you don't get to control everything. Oh, and this is a really important lesson that I learned years ago. Our anxiety makes us so self-focused sometimes that we think that whatever is about us, whatever is that thing, and I don't know, it's different from person to person, but we're like, oh, if I don't close the door a certain way, or if I don't make this phone call, or if I don't wear this red ribbon, or if I don't count to 24, if I don't step on the plane with our right foot, my right foot, if I don't step on the plane with my right foot, then the plane's going to go down. Take a beat there and think about what you just said, that if you don't get on the plane with your right foot, then the plane's going to go down. So what you're saying is that you have control over that whole plane full of people, that your right foot controls the destiny of everybody else. You are so powerful. See, when I think like that, I realize, oh, wait a minute. I don't have control over any of this. So why do I waste the energy worrying the way in which I do? So start there. C says, my son applied to one college and I'm so afraid that he won't get in. And my mama heart might break. Yeah, well, if he doesn't get in, he will pivot and figure out where else he could go. Maybe he goes to community college for a year and applies somewhere else for next year. Maybe he takes a gap year. Let it be about him. He will be okay. Even if your heart's breaking, he will be okay. He knew what he was doing when he applied to one school. F DM'd me her issue and we talked about it via DM. P says the economy, interest rates, inflation, that's what's keeping her up. Yep. I get it. Me too. But again, this is where I've said it. I think the theme of this is stay in the moment. Nothing we could do about it. So tighten your belt a little bit and stay in the moment. That's my advice. F says, I worry I'm going to gain weight for real. I know it's crazy. It's not crazy. I worry I'm going to gain weight too. Menopause is kicking my butt, but doing my best to avoid that. And that's all you could do. And also rely on what you know to be true about you. I happen to know this listener because they've messaged me before. You've kept this weight off a really long time. Keep doing the things you do. And if anything changes, then go to a doctor and ask why. That's my advice. Jay says parenting college-age kids keeps her up at night. It's tough. We're learning as we go. But the fact that you think about how you're doing means you're probably doing a good job. A says she has no friends, plus she worries about her kids, like lacrosse and college. She worries about politics. She's lonely and she hates people. So look, a lot of us feel the way you're feeling. Many of us feel like we don't have friends. Many of us feel lonely. Many of us worry. I would seek support either in family that you trust, in your religious affiliation if you have one, and if not, then I'd find a therapist to unpack some of this. Because I do think that sometimes we create stories in our head. I fully believe you, by the way. But sometimes we do convince ourselves that things are worse than maybe they really are. And if they are that bad and you really don't have any friends, then you can look as to why. Because my guess is that you've made that choice rather than the people around you. And you even said it. You said, I hate the people. So why do you hate the people? And maybe you could find someone you hate a little less than the others, and that could turn into maybe even liking them. But I would seek counsel. I would seek help from a professional if I were you. C says she has hot flashes. It's making her feel trapped in her body and supplements aren't working. Find a menopause specialist in your area. Do it. Listen to Dr. Mary Claire Haver. Find her on TikTok and Instagram and read her book, The Galveston Diet. It's not really a diet. She's got great wisdom about this, far beyond any I could give you. But I know there's support for you. Find a doctor who specializes in menopause care. S says she has anxiety over taking care of elderly parents. That keeps her up at night. I get it. But taking care of my parents was the greatest gift. Taking care of my father at the end of his life, I would do it again and again and again. And I have so many reasons to be angry with him. I do. But I do it again and again and again. I love that man. And I miss him every freaking day. And I wouldn't have done it any other way. So it's a gift to take care of your parents, I promise. C is worrying about her son and his anxiety. Yeah. We worry about our kids. I think we're supposed to. I've said it 6 times or 12 times in this episode. Just stay in the moment best you can. That is my advice to you. W says they're up at night figuring out where to live, finding a place to live. Yeah, tell me about it. Keith and I are figuring out our next move. We don't know. We're still here, but we can't seem to figure it out either. I don't know. That's a hard one. Research and go visit places. That might help you. M says they're up worrying about their young adults' problems. I get that, but it's their problems. I mean, we're always going to worry. We're always going to worry, but we also have to know that we gave them the tools and believe we gave them the tools to manage whatever it is, and just be there for them and listen. Don't make the problem worse by when they come to you, letting them see how consumed and nervous you are. Don't give them that extra added anxiety. They don't need it. That's about us. D says that she worries about her parents who are both not well. They're 78 and 80 years old. I understand that. She also said autism. I don't know if that means D has autism. And then her weight. Fear of taking Ozempic. Oh, she has Ozempic in her home. What are you afraid of? Did your doctor prescribe it and say that you could use it and that you need it and you'd benefit from it and you want to take it? Then take it. If you don't want to take it, then don't. But I'm not sure what the fear is doing for you. Maybe think about that. Maybe try to figure out what that fear is doing for you. Is it helping you? Is it making you avoid something else? Kay says, my dog just passed and I'm so sad. What can I do to feel human again? Time, Kay, time. It just takes time. You're not going to feel right for a while. There's no timeline. You're not going to feel right for a while. But give yourself some grace. We love our animal babies. I'm sorry. Anyway. Okay, so that's it for now. I did also put in my Instagram story that I would do an AMA and ask me anything, which I will do. I just think for today, this is where I want to leave it, being about you. And I appreciate that you trust me with your stuff, and I'm here to help you best I can. I'm really grateful that you all take care of me the way in which you do, and I love taking care of you. So keep your stuff coming. Send me DMs anytime, and I'll address them either here or on social media. You can always email me what's going on at justjennypod@gmail.com. I'm at justjennyhut on Instagram, at jennyhut on TikTok and Twitter. Okay, talk to you tomorrow.